Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday News on 3FM 92.7. We're live from our studios here in Adesawe, Kanda, Accra, and also live across our numerous affiliates. On Tamale is W107.1. Coming up this afternoon, Chief Justice writes to Special Prosecutor Kissie Agyemang to respond to a petition by Martin Amidu seeking his removal from office on a number of grounds, including procurement breaches. Also, Parliament returns for emergency sitting called at the behest of the majority caucus, while live there as the minority continues to serve notice they will not support any new loan agreement. And over 40 aggrieved jurors in Ashanti region remain at post despite strike call by their colleagues in Accra. Also later this afternoon, we'll touch base with the NPP flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, on the campaign trail in the Upper East region. My name is Grace Hamwa Agyemang. Details of these and more, stay with us. Many thanks for joining us. Let's get right into it. And President Akufo-Addo has remitted the petition for the removal of Kissie Agyemang as Special Prosecutor to the Chief Justice for further action. The Chief Justice is now to determine whether there is a prima facie case to establish a committee for Kissie Agyemang's removal as required by the Constitution in Article 146. The petition was filed by former Special Prosecutor Martin Amidu on the grounds of procurement breaches in the purchase of vehicles for the Office of the Special Prosecutor, OSP, and an alleged of misconduct involving judges and the administration of justice. There's more to this, and my colleague Christian Yali has joined me for a conversation. Christian, what more do we know?
All right, so what we know is that other allegations contained in the petition by Martin Amidu include violations of citizens' right through arrests and detentions, violations of the right to information, and improper appointment of personnel to the OSP, the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Martin Amidu says, for instance, that the arrests of individuals like Cecilia Dapa and Professor Frimpong Boateng were an abuse of their rights. Additionally, Martin Amidu alleges a violation of the right to information when he requested appointment letters and salary details of all OSP staff to be put on a pen drive for him, which Kissie Agyemang refused.
We understand that Mr. Amidu's petition is in relation to a press conference held by the OSP. What did the OSP say, and what is Martin Amidu's response?
Grace, so you would recall recently that the OSP held a presser during which the Special Prosecutor Kissie Agyemang alleged that judges had conspired against him. Now, the former Attorney General and Minister of Justice Martin Amidu alleges in this case that Mr. Agyemang's press conference complaints about the judiciary constitute abuse of judges and brings the judiciary into disrepute. Now, this impeachment process, which he has started, follows the report that the Special Prosecutor declined demands to resign and instead held a press conference to express frustrations with his work. We can listen to what the Special Prosecutor said that day.
The decision to investigate and prosecute lies with the investigation and prosecution authorities, such as the OSP. And the OSP has at all material times carried out its power to investigate with candor and professionalism, being minded of the rights of suspects under its investigation, just as it is essential that anyone accused of a crime should have free access to the courts so that he may be duly acquitted if found not guilty of the offense with which he or she is charged. It is also of the utmost importance that the judiciary should not interfere with investigation and prosecution authorities in respect of matters which are within their statutory powers. It will be gravely inimical to public policy, the fight against corruption, and the administration of justice if the court stepped into this arena to decide who should be investigated, who should be prosecuted, and who should not.
Okay, so Christopher, we've heard from the OSP now. What is next now?
So, Grace, as 3FM understands and as we know and as required by Article 146 of the Constitution, the Chief Justice is now in the process of deciding if there is a prima facie case to establish a committee for Mr. Agyemang's impeachment. Now, if you look at the letter written from the Chief Justice to the Special Prosecutor Kisi Agyemang. Now, if you look at the subject, it says RE petition by Martin Alamisi Amidu for the removal of Honorable Kisi Agyemang from office as Special Prosecutor pursuant to Section 15 of the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act 2017 Act 959. Now, this is the body of the main letter itself. It says this is to forward to you a copy of petition dated 30th April 2024 sent to the office of the President, which was forwarded to the office of the Honorable Lady Chief Justice on 6th May 2024. Now, kindly provide your comment, and this is where there has been a bone of contention, especially among the lawyers, whether at this stage there is a need for
the OSP to bring in their comments and all.
Exactly. So the Chief Justice is saying that kindly provide your comment to the matters raised to enable the Honorable Chief Justice determine if a prima facie case has been made out. Thank you, and please accept my compliment. So there's a letter from the Chief Justice to the Special Prosecutor Kisi Agyemang.
All right, Christian, thank you for that update. It appears it's not going away anytime soon. Let's stay on this and speak to a legal practitioner and former MP Tamale Central Inusa Fuseni Council. Thank you for joining us. First, I want to get your reaction on this latest development. How do you see this petition? Council, can you hear me? We want to take your first comment on this. How do you see this petition?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Oh, good. The petition by Martin Amido is part of the processes anticipated under Act 959. That is the Special Prosecutors Act. And that falls directly under Section 15 of the Act. Now, Section 15 provides the grounds on which the Special Prosecutor can be removed from office and the processes involved in his removal. Now, so I heard you ask why that there's a bone of report that there's a bone of contention between lawyers as to why the Chief Justice has forwarded the petition to the
OSP and is asking for his comments at what people say is quite early.
The Chief Justice is mandated under the law, under Section 15 of the law, to establish whether or not there is a prima facie case. And the prima facie case cannot be determined if the Chief Justice doesn't hear from the Special Prosecutor. And that's why the Chief Justice has sent the petition to the Special Prosecutor for his comments, for the determination as to whether or not a prima facie case has been made out against the Special Prosecutor.
Okay.
But let me hasten to add that among the grievances raised against the Special Prosecutor by Martin Amidu, I see the most serious being the breaches of the Procurement Act, because his mandate under the law is to investigate corruption-related offences and breaches of the Procurement Act. So if it is established that he breached provisions of the Public Procurement Act, then that is really very serious. Now, I believe the grounds under which Martin Amidu is coming is under 15(1)(a), which is for stated misconduct or incompetence.
Okay. Council, so we know you played a critical role in the passage of the OSP bill and the subsequent creation of that office. Do you agree with those who say the OSP has failed to live up to expectations? I mean, also considering the fact that Martin Amidu himself, some say, could not perform, and recent issues raised by Kisi Agyemang.
I will not say exactly that. The Special Prosecutor's Office is roughly 7 years old. So it's still trying to establish itself and pursue the legitimate mandate that it has been given. Now, you have to balance this against the expectation of the Ghanaian people, and particularly the justification for the establishment of the office. Now, people expected that because corruption is eaten deep into the public fabric, and then the Special Prosecutor would have been up and running, and that will attach some level of seriousness to the matter. But you know, fighting corruption is not an easy task. I mean, many people have lost their lives because of corruption, fighting corruption. And so, clearly, yes, there is the expectation of Ghanaians that the office of the special prosecutor, having been established, would have seen a drop or a law in the corruptible or perceptible corruptible behavior among public officials. We are not seeing that. And the special prosecutor has run into a lot of roadblocks and has at times been frustrated by institutions of state which appear not to be cooperating with him. And so I try to balance the need to rein in corruption with the fact that the office is a new creation. It needs to cut its teeth.
All right, Honorable, thank you then for speaking to us. We have been engaging legal practitioner and former MP Tamale Central Inusa Fuseni. Thank you for speaking to us. Now, we can still stay on this and speak to lawyer Abdullahi, who is joining us for a conversation. But before that, let's go to Parliament. Our correspondent, Komla Kluche, is there. He also has a lot more on this. Komla, thank you for joining us. We know the House has been recalled to begin sitting. Before we go into the details of that, some MPs have been speaking to you about this petition to remove the OSP. Tell us a bit more about that.
Well, it's a straightforward one coming from the Tamale South MP, Al-Hassan Suhini, who has been launching some attack on the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. He says that the president is neck deep in this, an allegation that he has spoken about, and says it's all a grand scheme by him so that the fight against corruption, which he, the president, has shown very little commitment to, it's not won. He's been speaking to the press a short while ago. Let's listen to what he has to say.
All right, Komla, we'll bring that audio subsequently. Let us go into the details or the main reason the House is sitting. We know that the minority says they're satisfied with the $200 million Greater Accra Resilient and Integrated Project aimed at tackling the flooding situation in the Greater Accra region. After an inspection of 4 locations of the project site, the NDC MPs on the Works and Housing Committee are demanding the World Bank conduct a forensic audit into the funds released in 2019 for the projects that engineers say are at a 20% construction. Let's listen to this package you sent us earlier, and then we'll have a conversation on the back of that.
Governments have spent several millions of cedis in an attempt to address the problem, but there has been no significant improvement in the situation. The most popular forms of interventions undertaken by government has been to dredge the Odo River, which has been constrained as a drain. With heavy volumes of a downpour, surface runoffs, overflows and destruction of settlements, the plight of many who have lived in the catchment area of the Odo have been a sad spectacle. In 2019, a $200 million facility from the World Bank was approved by Parliament for the implementation of the project in Accra. 5 years down the line, this is the extent of work done so far. At Alogbushi, 4 huge culverts are being constructed by Memphis Metropolitan, but only 2 have been worked on currently. Within the same vicinity, Fair Sky is constructing a storm drain that will contain runoffs from the Achimota ABC area through Alogbushi and terminating into the Odo. The minority NDC MPs on the Works and Housing Committee visiting the site are questioning what they allege as government diverting the funds for the project.
All right, Komla, so that is the package you sent us. What are the concerns really of the minority MPs?
Well, one of the reasons why the House is sitting today or has been recalled from their recess on this emergency sitting is the consideration of the $150 million for the Garrett project, and it's on the basis that the minority MPs on the Works and Housing Committee have had to go there because the Speaker referred the issue to them. and said that the Western Housing Committee and then the Finance Committee should look at the matter. But it does appear that the minority is unsatisfied, especially on the back of the first 200 million that the World Bank had given us, or which Parliament approved from the World Bank, which has been expended, and it does appear there isn't much to show for it. In fact, it was even reported that $65 million of that was transferred into COVID funds, which in recent past, the Minister for Western Housing, Kojo Bonkoma, has been speaking, saying that they will do everything they can to reverse or transfer back that money to the original source. So it does appear that there's no justification for the first tranche. Okay. And so the minority is averse to it. They say they are not going to support it. That position of theirs stands. Nothing is going to change about it.
All right, Komla, update us on the recall. Has the business in the House started already? How does it look like?
No, the House, the members of both sides are in here, but they are yet to start with the proceedings. We are waiting to see what's going to happen next.
All right, thank you for the updates. We'll definitely come back to you when proceedings begin. Komla Kluche Aman updating us from proceedings in Parliament. Let's move away from that. And the former Auditor General, Daniel Dumelevo, says the petition filed against the Economic and Organized Crime Office, YOCO, over the matter involving the former Minister of Sanitation and Water Resources is seeking to demand answers from the authorities, especially YOCO, on this matter. They want to find out from YOCO why it has decided not to look into the matter. He told Afro Council on Ghana tonight the matter involving the former minister ought to be investigated to a logical conclusion.
It is my considered view that Parliament has this oversight responsibility over the state institutions. So that is why we have asked Parliament to look into the case and tell us what exactly is the reason behind the apparent refusal of YOCO to investigate the allegation or the offense. Honestly, the story is not believable. If you have been following YOCO, YOCO is one institution which in the past has even been quick at investigating offenses which fall outside their mandate. But now, what falls squarely within their mandate, they are even refusing to investigate. So I think if Parliament calls them, we would like to know whether it is because of the President's prophecy, which says that at the end of the investigations, Honorable Cecilia Abnadapa, her integrity or her reputation will be fully restored.
Former Auditor General Daniel Dumelevo there. Now let's go to the Ashanti reading, because over 40 aggrieved jurors in the reading will remain at post despite a strike call by their colleagues in the country's capital, Accra. William Evans in an earlier interview with the group's leader, Albert Aka, says they want to be magnanimous considering the quantum of high-profile criminal cases stocked at the High Courts. Let's listen to that and engage William shortly.
The Ashanti region has over 40 jurors, and most of them are serving here at the High Court. They tell me they are not taking part of the strike action, but then they will not rule out a future strike action. The lack of allowance, which of course they also use to cater for their transportation, is affecting their movement. Albert Aka, the leader of the jurors here, tells me the situation, although is dire, they want to give it for now a human face.
We are not saying that it doesn't affect us. It affects every juror in the country. But we have not even decided now. You see, if the such action will be taken, it's a corrective decision by all the jurors. We'll sit down, then we'll discuss. If there's a need for us to embark on strike action, then we'll do that.
So Albert Aka is leader of the jurors in the Ashanti region from that report sent to us by Ashanti Regional Team. And the third African Media Convention has ended with a call on African government to strengthen press freedom and the safety of journalists in the continent. Journalists have also been tasked to be creative and innovative and factual in their storytelling to curb the proliferation of misinformation and disinformation. Ibrahim Abubakar is joining us from the Accra International Conference Center for more on that. But before that, we can hear from President Akufo-Addo, who has been speaking about some interesting development in Ghanaian media.
Will be fully safeguarded, as will the efforts of the law enforcement agencies to bring the killers of Ahmed Swale to book continue, no matter how long it takes. The government of Ghana remains committed to supporting a free, independent, responsible, and innovative media. We're dedicated to creating an enabling environment where media freedom flourishes alongside responsibility, and where innovation is matched by a commitment to sustainability. There's one other urgent matter I want to bring to your attention, a matter that is transforming rapidly the media landscape in Africa and around the world, the phenomenon of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence holds immense promise for the media industry. Its potential to enhance efficiency in news gathering and dissemination is unparalleled. Whilst AI holds great promise, we must also be vigilant of the potential threats it poses to the integrity of our media systems.
Ibrahim, so good to have you join us. Final day of the summit. What would you say has been the highlights of today and probably for all the other days?
Well, basically, the discussion has centered on press freedom and the safety of journalists. And for organizers, they believe that the lip service is too much. Most of the time, we talk about press freedom, yet you look at the African continent, and like they said, between January 2023 to May 2024, we've had 14 African journalists being killed, and 67 of them are now languishing in jail, all because they are doing their journalism. And they want the African government to walk their talk and make sure that they strengthen press freedom and also the safety of journalists. That way, we have the African journalists being able to properly tell the African stories. In just some few minutes, the committee will be putting together a communique that they will be presented to various governments. And also, they were also looking at AI tools, how the people are using AI tools to make sure that they
to help
spread
take out
fake news and
disinformation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So with that, even with that, they are saying the media can leverage on that too, just to make sure that they are able to do their work easier and even faster.
Okay.
And that way we'll be able to curb the proliferation of disinformation and misinformation. So it's been a 3 day of networking, a 3 day of collaboration by African journalists, and they are looking forward to at least bettering the media landscape and also making sure that it is more invested more so that people will be able to do their job as expected of them.
Okay, Ibrahim, thank you for that update. Ibrahim Abubakar updating us there. Let's go up north because we know that students at the Veterinary College in Pong Tamale in the Savalugu municipality have extended their protest to day 2 to express their displeasure over the persistent water shortage on campus. The students were unprescribed clothes to lectures to put pressure on management to solve the water situation. They claim there's no water to wash their uniforms. Dressed in attire that did not meet the school standards, students arrived at their various lecture halls without their usual white shirts and khaki trousers due to the inability to access water for washing. This resulted in their lecturers preventing them from entering the classroom. Christopher Macon is on the phone with us. Christopher, this issue of water shortage must be challenging for these students.
Yes, exactly so, Grace. For the past 2 weeks, these students, according to them, have not had water to even wash their school uniforms. And so yesterday, they decided that in order to register their displeasure to management of the veterinary college in Pong Tamale, they decided not to attend lectures. And so this resulted in some confusion between the students and their lecturers. So even though yesterday there was some level of sanity on campus, but the situation still persists. And for the students, until the management come to their rescue by ensuring that that situation is addressed, they are not ready to, first of all, dress appropriately to class and also participate in any school activity.
So has management responded to their concerns yet? Briefly for me, Christopher.
Yes, so far, management have been meeting the leadership of the student body, that is the SRC, telling them that even though the Pong Tamale water system is under a community water system, so they are looking at how to get water into the school. They are also talking about relying on tanker services to provide water for the students.
All right, Christopher, thank you for that update. Christopher Makun, reporter there. Let's do other stories now. The flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, is continuing his tour of the northern part of the country. This afternoon, the Vice President is in the Upper East region on his campaign to win hearts and minds of voters there. Let's go straight to the region. Castro Senyala is our man there. Castro, update us on the Vice President. What's the state now?
Right, great. At the moment, the Vice President is at the Upper East Regional House of Chiefs, where he's expected to meet members of the House. But before then, he was in Borga Township, where he met the clergy and some members of the Muslim community, where he's been speaking basically on his campaign message. Firstly, he called on the need for both Christians and Muslims to live together as brothers and sisters, irrespective of their religious diversity. He also talked about the fact that he was coming in to continue from where the MPP has stopped as far as development of the country is concerned. And so he says primarily he's in the region to see if he can get their support as far as the December elections is concerned, and also for them to pray for him. So he touched on the Polygon multi-purpose dam, where he says he would be very happy if the people can give him his money, because when he comes, he's going to prioritize agriculture production. And so he knows that the Polygon multi-purpose dam construction has faced many issues. But when he comes to power, and in fact, as he's in government right now, they are trying as much as possible to how best they can ensure that they commit themselves to the construction of the project, because he knows that the project, when completed, would bring a lot of good, not only to the people of the Upper East region, but to the entirety of the Northern region. So, like I stated earlier on, we are currently at the Upper East Regional House of Chiefs, where he's speaking the members. He's yet to speak, but we understand that.
All right, so let's then listen to him on what he says about Polygon. Okay. Yeah.
I have a vision that I want to really focus on if, by the grace of God, I become president. My first priority is going to be agriculture. Agriculture and large-scale commercial agriculture, mechanized agriculture with the application of technology. This is what has been lacking. We have the land, we have the water, and so we need to move into large-scale commercial production, mechanized with technology that we are going to use to help our farmers access credit, and with irrigation. I have no doubt in my mind, and I was championing the Polygon Dam. We have not yet been able to do it, but by the grace of God, I believe we are going to do the Polygon Dam.
Flag bearer of the NPP, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Before we go, the flag bearer of the NDC has announced plans for a comprehensive reclamation of lands degraded by galamsey activities in the country. Speaking at the 3rd annual transformative dialogue on small-scale mining in Sunyani, John Mahama is advising he would be appointees to stay away from engaging in mining activities.
The proposed small-scale mining cooperatives we are talking about will differ in all forms from the existing community mining scheme, which has undeniably become a conduit for enriching party chairmen, DCEs, and other politically connected individuals. In my government, if you're a minister or a DCE or an official and you undertake mining activity, I'll ask you to resign and go and do the mining.
Flag bearer of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama, there, ending the midday news on 3FM 92.7. My name is Grace Agyemang. Thank you for joining us. Michael Ogbodu is standing by to bring us the latest in the world of business. Good afternoon.